Welcome to another episode of More Than Books, stories from the Kanawha County Public Library. I'm your host, Stan Howe. On this program, we take a look beyond the shelves to highlight news, activities, events, and the resources available for KCPL patrons. The Clendenin Branch Library has come a long way in the past 8 years. Back in 2016, floodwaters from the Elk River washed away the old library building on Cardinal Street. That disaster ended library services in Clendenin for a couple of years before the branch eventually relocated to a site on Kuntz Avenue. The Clendenin branch has since added a 24-hour kiosk on the side of the old library building. The kiosk is the only one of its kind in the KCPL system, and in conjunction with the traditional branch, provides library services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, operating as a library vending machine. With all of this going on, our traveling correspondent Jai Ravine had a chance to spend some time with Clendenin staff, including branch manager Tammy Parker and library assistant Autumn Cox.
Well, thanks so much, Autumn, for spending time with us today and talking all things Clendenin. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Awesome. I'm good, yeah. So, how long have you worked for KCPL?
Almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in November.
Gotcha. And has it all been here at Clendenin, or?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Sweet. I hear that you actually came through the volunteer program. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I did that in 2016 and 17, and then I was aged out of the program.
Right.
So, but after that, I continued to just periodically volunteer at Elk Valley and Clendenin whenever needed any help.
Cool. And then you started working here as a library assistant. So
yes.
How exciting. Yeah, what are some things that you enjoy about, what is your role like as a library assistant?
It's a lot of different things. It's, I mean, you do everything from, shelving to desk work to making displays. It's like,
totally.
Yeah, jack of all trades.
Yep, all kinds of things. What are some things that you enjoy about it?
I enjoy, mostly being creative. I like coming up with, just anything that lets me be creative. I really like about the job.
Totally. That's awesome. Yeah. What are some things that you find challenging about it?
Sometimes as someone with, social anxiety, talking to people at, the public service can be a little stressful, but I think this job's actually really helped me grow with that and get better with that.
Totally.
And I'm really thankful for that, even though that may be the more challenging part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've been able to grow in the position. So that's cool.
Positive growth.
Yeah, positive growth. Yeah, that's great. So I have right here a lovely little Braxy plushie that you have made for one of the programs coming up. Tell me about the programs that you organize here.
I organize the teen programs, which can be a variety of things like making snacks, video games, crafts, just fun stuff like that. And I also organize for most all ages, 10 and up, paint-along programs.
That's cool. And those happen every other month?
Every other month,
okay,
I try
cool.
to, yes.
And then I've seen pictures of the things that patrons have made from those. And I hear that the last one that you had was really well attended, was it?
Very well, and it's still a learning curve. I've been doing them since January. And not everyone got to finish the last one we did because I kind of picked a little more detailed one, and still a learning curve of can't do that detailed in that amount of time.
Right, yeah.
So I'm still working on it, but cool. I think everyone's enjoying that a lot.
What kinds of other things have you learned from that paint-along program since you started?
Definitely thinking about the time constraint is one that I'm really trying to focus on.
Yeah.
This next one that I'm going to be doing is actually the first one I'm doing without following a pre-made tutorial. I'm gonna just be just looking from a picture and teaching from that. So I'm a little nervous but excited for that at the same time.
That's awesome. Sweet. What kinds of programs can folks look forward to in October?
We have our Halloween party that we have every year here. And I'll be doing one of my painting ones. They're going to do a campfire with ghosts. They're
cute.
roasting marshmallows. I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be really cute.
Awesome. I hear that you do some of the displays here and also make flyers for programs. And we've talked a little bit about how much you enjoy the creative aspect of it. I guess what other things do you enjoy about being able to use your creativity in your job?
I think, I think of my skills, that's one that I'm decently good at with being creative and artsy and stuff. I really like the process of making flyers because I love theming things. I love when things are all themed together, so it's always fun when it's a good, solid thing you can make like a fun poster with. Yeah, just making everything like cohesive and neat's always really fun.
Totally.
With that too.
Oh, and I heard that you have your posters up out on the. Where are they?
They're out in town. They're at the old Roxy Theater. One of the windows there. I print them out and give them to one of our president of our board, and she decorates them.
Awesome. That's great. So folks can see your work out in the wild. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, is there anything else you wanted to add or share today?
Thank you for coming.
Totally. Yeah. For sure.
Nothing in particular.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna take a little break, and we'll have more right after this.
All right.
Welcome back to More Than Books. I'm here with Branch Manager Tammy Parker. How are you doing today, Tammy?
Doing okay
Doing
today.
okay?
Yep.
Doing okay.
Yep.
All right, good to see you.
Thank you.
We talked about a year or so ago, and the library looked a lot different then.
Yes.
I walked in today, and there's so much more room. Can you tell us about how you've rearranged things and opened up the space a little bit?
Okay, yes, I'll talk about that a little bit. But we have a lot of programs here, and we have pretty good attendance at our programs. And what we were doing, every time we had a big family program, we would have to empty out the children's area and set up over there, or along the windows, so we would have a long skinny space. When we had our big programs, in the summertime especially, we would use the town's community center.
Gotcha.
So with that in mind about the programs we have and some other things, we decided to open up some space. And so that meant a little bit of downsizing, and we took some of the shelves out and squished everything in to the area that you see here. And it was a thing to get used to. Staff, I think, had a harder time getting used to it because when it came to shelving, we had a whole different way of doing things and locations to go to. And a lot of the patrons would come in and say, oh, something's different. It's open. Where's all the books? But then a lot of the people came in and said, oh, I like this open space. So since we've opened it up, we started, even before we had it completely open, we started having programs in the area over there. And it's just so much better to have our programs here locally. We even had a program with animals, the reptiles. We had it here in the building. And so we didn't have to worry about scheduling the rec center with the town, and didn't have to worry about directing all the people there because they always would come here and then have to walk over there. So it's made it a lot better for all of our programming to have it here. And like I said, we're getting used to all the shelving, and hopefully one of these days we'll have all that organized so that everything is going to be a lot easier for us.
Cool. And how has program attendance been since you changed the space?
It's been really good. We are, what we're trying to do is open the programs up to families, to have intergenerational, as I call it. So even the children's programs for the summer, we had a lot of families coming, even for the preschool programs. So we've had sometimes up to 46 people over there for a program. Nice. Family programs, we averaged 30, 32 over there. We've done painting and STEM. That was a lot of fun, the STEM we had for the summer, for 4th of July. We even set off rockets in the library.
Oh, nice.
So they didn't hit the ceiling, though.
Cool.
But the space is going to come in handy because this year we will be able to have our Halloween party.
Oh, nice.
The annual Halloween party that our advisory board co-hosts with us.
Right.
They provide the refreshments and we do games, and we have a special speaker, usually a magician. And then also our open house at the beginning of December. Our advisory board hosts that.
Right.
And they provide the refreshments and maybe a jolly visitor.
I know, yeah,
And-
imagine
and
you.
We'll have, our advisory board is very supportive of the library, and they
Nice.
do activities. They're planning a fall book sale sometime.
Cool.
And that is held across the hall in an empty room that the landlord lets us use.
Okay.
So, and other things that I did mention talking to you earlier, that we do participate in town activities too.
Yeah.
So when the community will have their Halloween of the trick or treat, we will be open that evening. So we'll be
Awesome.
having people stop in here.
That's great.
And we'll have candy and some other goodies to hand
Awesome.
out.
That's
So,
going to be fun, yeah. So it's you manage not just this location but also the kiosk as well. So
Yes.
you've got a and for folks who aren't familiar with the kiosk, tell us what that is.
Okay, the kiosk is like a vending machine, except you don't have to use money.
Right.
If you would go up, I mean, just like a Coke vending machine or candy bars, what you would do is scan your library card in the little spot they have for that, and then you can type in the numbers of whatever book or movie you want to check out. And it has tiers, 3 tiers, so the machine holds well over 500 items.
Gotcha.
And we try to keep it full all the time as much as possible. Anyway, the tiers will go around, you type in the numbers you want, and it will come out through the slot, and you just pick it up, print off a receipt if you want to tell us
Right.
what you checked out. You can also return items there too.
Gotcha.
Just punch a button that says return, and the door will open and you slide your items in there.
Right.
And it's not just for the things that come out of the kiosk. We often get books and movies returned that somebody checked out at another library,
Right.
and they can still return them there.
Gotcha.
And so it makes it handy. And
Yeah.
it has been, we've had it open for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years
Right.
in December. And it took a while to get started.
Right.
But the more we talk about it, and we talk about it a lot to the patrons that come in here,
Right.
a lot of people have said that they can never get to the library while we're open.
Right.
So we suggest them
Yeah.
going to the kiosk. It's also been a learning curve for us because sometimes if the power goes out, it'll shut it down for a day or whatever.
Right.
But I would say that in August, we had probably more business at the kiosk than we've had before.
That's awesome.
And, well over 100 things were checked out.
Awesome.
And people are using it to return things that go to other libraries in
Right.
case they don't want to drive down to, say, Elkview. They could just put their
For
things
sure.
in there.
Yeah.
So it's
Awesome.
getting used, and we try to go down there and make sure it's stocked
Right.
full a couple of times a week.
Yeah. And it's basically open 24/7, right?
Yes, it is
Yeah.
open 24/7. We see that because we get the statistics, we see people check out things at 3 o'clock in the morning
Oh.
sometimes, midnight. So
You're going to need that that midnight movie for,
Yes.
for your So,
Yes.
yeah. Cool. All right. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about in terms of events coming up or whatnot?
Well, we don't have everything planned for the fall, but what I did mention with
Yeah.
the Halloween party. But we have we keep busy with games for the kids.
For sure.
We do have STEM programs once a month.
Uh-huh.
And we've been having good attendance in
That's
those.
good,
I mean,
that's
we've
good.
had 20 kids come in before.
That's great.
Because it's right after school.
Yeah.
And now that we have a new school in the area, and I will be visiting the new school,
Oh, what's the new school?
Clendenin Elementary is moved back
Oh.
into Clendenin. It's no
Oh.
longer in Elkview.
Got you. Okay. Yeah.
So, and I think that they have a lot more kids there now.
Nice.
So I'm expecting to have a lot more kids come in
That's
the
cool.
library.
Yeah.
So, but the STEM programs are popular.
Awesome. How's your other children's programming going?
The story time is about the same.
Okay.
Still very few kids, so we would like to encourage anybody with preschool kids to come in for
Right.
those. We do those monthly and have a play group afterwards.
Nice.
So families can get to know each other.
Yeah.
And then another thing that we added on just in the spring was an after-school program
Oh, yeah.
for kids. And like one time might be Legos, another time will be a painting craft, another time is board games. So,
Yeah.
so we've gotten some attendance on that. It just hasn't caught on yet because
Right.
we didn't do it in the summertime.
Right.
But we're starting it back up
Cool.
now.
Cool.
So that'll
All
be
right.
fun.
Awesome. So there's things for all ages at Clendenin.
Yes.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks so much, Tammy,
You're
for
welcome.
spending time with me today and
Thanks for
talking.
coming.
Yeah, talk about all things Clendenin. We're going to have more from More Than Books right after this.
I'm Ferdinand. You look at me and think big. You think scary. But I'm a little misunderstood. Sorry I almost killed you. Kids with learning and attention issues are misunderstood too. Take the time to understand. Learn more at understood.org.
The West Virginia Book Festival is one of the most popular literary events in the state, and it returns this month to Charleston on October 19th. With me now to talk about this year's event is festival co-chair Sarah Mitchell. Sarah, thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Stan.
Well, you've been involved with the book festival for a few years now. Tell me about that.
The book festival has been around since 2001. Can you believe this is our 21st year? Now, we had a few
And
years
you've been there
off.
this whole time.
No.
Okay.
Just since 2016. I wasn't involved heavily in the 2016 because I had the birth of my son, but since 2017 on, I have been heavily involved in the book festival, and it's one of my favorite events.
So it's been around since 2001, but there have been a few gaps here and there too, right?
2013, 2014, and of course COVID in 2020. But I was really proud of our staff that we were able to pull off our first virtual one in 2021.
That was a real challenge for you guys, wasn't it?
It was, but our staff persevered and continued on and was able to present the book festival to the entire state, to anyone that wanted to watch in virtually.
So tell us about this year. When do things start?
Things start Saturday, October 19th, and it's at the Charleston Coliseum and Convention Center. We have a wide variety of activities for all ages.
And so it's a one-day event again this year. I think last year was also a one-day event. Is that right?
It is. It just went so well, and we were able to experience the full day in one. And it also allows people just to travel in for that one day. We wanted to make sure that everyone had the opportunity to see all of our authors.
So, and you have every year you have a number of headlining authors. So what does this year's lineup look like?
One of our goals with the book festival is to make sure we have a wide variety of authors, something for everyone. So we do have our headlining authors, which we have Greg Hurwitz, who is that thriller author. We have Jean Lun Yang, who wrote American Born Chinese, which was a Disney series. I mean, that hits that young adult, but also the adult, because I don't know about you, I enjoy my Disney shows.
Yeah, he's a graphic novelist, right?
He is. We have Sadiqa Johnson, and she did The House of Eve. She has that fictional book that is just great. I mean, such a wonderful book, and really it's filled with just an enjoyable read. We have Joy Calloway. You know what? She has local ties.
She's a Marshall University graduate. You got to like that.
I know one of her books was on the Greenbrier.
That's right. And another book's on Grove Park Inn, which is another famous hotel in Asheville, North Carolina.
Her books tend to be the historical fiction in which she takes real places and incorporates it into her book, which is just wonderful. And I just love when we're able to bring in that tie to West Virginia. And we have Mia Manasala, who combines humor and murder. What more can you ask?
So besides the headlining authors, there are a lot of other programs going on as well. Tell us about those.
We have our wordplay, which is just dedicated to the children. There is going to be crafts, there's going to be activity, we're going to have a kids' fun fitness area. In addition to that, we have programs that are dedicated specifically to children. We're very excited. One of our co-sponsors is PBS Broadcasting, and they're going to be there and do a writing workshop dedicated to children. I'm very excited to see them come. If you have that inspiring young child that wants to be an author one day, bring them down to the Charleston Coliseum on October 19th.
Of course, also there's the festival marketplace where you can meet a lot of different authors.
Yes, we have one of the goals of the book festival is to promote local authors. So we have vendors set up in our marketplace who are these local authors that are selling their books. It's that opportunity to have that one-on-one conversation. In addition, we also have libraries there, and we have something called Library Row. So you can just come and experience all what libraries offer across the state. It's a wonderful opportunity. On top of that, besides Marketplace, we also have our used book sale.
And that's a big one.
That is huge. That is huge. It opens at 8 a.m. on that Saturday, and we have people lining up to come in, and we want you to be one of those people to come in. We have a wide variety of children's books, adult books, DVDs. We even have a collection area of high-valued books that you can come in and see if that's something you're interested in. We use that money, which is really interesting, to help support Kanawha County Public Library's future programmings that we provide in the area. So everything that is purchased that day, that money goes back into Kanawha County Public Library and back into the community to support the programs.
Now, what are the hours for the book sale?
The hours for the book sale are 8. It opens at 8, and then in the afternoon they switch it into a half off. So you can come again in the morning and then come again in the afternoon and get more items.
Right.
My personal opinion, you can never own too many books.
You know, there's a lot of work that goes in, obviously, putting a festival like this and getting it off the ground. So some of the background behind the book festival, how do you select the authors?
We are very thankful to have a lot of community partners that help us with the selection committee. And on the selection committees, we have the West Virginia Humanities Council, we have PBS Broadcasting, we have the West Virginia Library Commission, we have Charleston Gazette. We have all these and more people that help us select and put in the authors for it. In addition, though, one of the most important things are the surveys that our people attending the festival gives us. We want to bring the authors that they want to see. So those surveys are used, and the selection committee goes through, and we make sure we have a wide variety, something for everyone.
I am going to pat ourselves on the back a little bit because almost all the heavy lifting behind the scenes for the festival comes from KCPL.
You're right. We have a ton of staff that chip in. It is all hands on deck that day. We have people from our children's department, people from our branches, our facilities department, marketing team. Everyone is working. We want to put on the best event possible for our West Virginia residents and make them see the love of the book just as much as we do.
Right, and the planning, as I understand it, really begins, for instance, let's talk about 2025. The day after, and actually prior to 2024 getting pulled off, you're already planning for next year's event, right?
Yes, this is a year-long planning event. We work very, very hard, and we are working with agencies to get these authors in. As part of the mission of the West Virginia Book Festival is to bring national authors into West Virginia and provide that opportunity for you and I to meet these people we never thought we'd ever have the chance to meet. And on top of that, you can get a book signed by these authors. We will have the West Virginia Book Company is our vendor for the event, and they make sure that for the headlining authors, they have books you can purchase and go get signed. It's really wonderful. And besides that, the other part of our mission is to make sure we're promoting local authors and these up-and-coming authors and giving them a platform to speak. It's a wonderful event, and I really hope everyone comes and joins us.
So you've been doing this, obviously, for a few years now, right? So as you look back at the previous book festivals you've been involved with, what are some of your favorite memories?
So one of my favorite memories is with R.L. Stine, the author of Goosebumps. He was there doing his signing, and he was there for hours. He made sure to talk to every single person that came up, and he was signing away, and he got a little hungry. I mean, he was working really hard. So I went to McDonald's and I got him a hamburger and brought it back, and he wanted no pickles. And I made sure it had no pickles. And he was one of the kindest, nicest human beings, and how he treated every single person that came up was just wonderful. But it is something I get to say to my future grandkids as I was able to get a hamburger for R.L. Stein.
That's pretty funny. So, you know, the festival is very popular. It's been around for a number of years. As I understand it, 3,000-4,000 people come each year to the event. What do you think makes it so special?
I think since the beginning of time, and I know I'm going in my history major here, is the love of reading and books. Our society loves books and that knowledge, and I think it is just that combination of love that you're around other fellow book lovers and you get to experience that. And from all ages. My children love books, my parents love books, my grandparents love books, and that everyone gets to come together and just celebrate the love of books and the continue of the written word.
Well, looking forward to it again this year. Every year it's a terrific event. This year, October 19th at the Charleston Coliseum and Convention Center, so we're looking forward to it. Sarah, thank you so much for spending some time and filling us in today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a great time.
We'll have some final thoughts right after this. It's been an uphill struggle for the Clendenin Branch Library since the floods of 2016, but I think you can tell the branch has recovered and is back on track as a valuable piece of the KCPL family. Don't forget, this month the West Virginia Book Festival returns to the Charleston Coliseum and Convention Center on Saturday, October 19th. This year's lineup includes best-selling author Greg Hurwitz, cartoonist and graphic novelist Jean Luen Yang, novelist Sadiqa Johnson, historical fiction author Joy Calloway, and award-winning writer Mia Manasala. Plus, there's the annual used book sale, a festival marketplace, writing workshops, and a whole lot more. It all starts Saturday morning, October 19th at 8. You can get full details, including this year's schedule of events, at the Book Festival website at wvbookfestival.org. I'd like to thank Clendenin Library Assistant Autumn Cox and Branch Manager Tammy Parker for spending time with correspondent Jai Ravine and updating us on the comings and goings at the Clendenin Branch Library. Also, thanks to Assistant Library Director and Festival Co-Chair Sarah Mitchell for filling us in on the 2024 West Virginia Book Festival. I'm Stan Howe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on More Than Books, Stories from the Kanawha County Public Library.